Well, chapter 2 opens with yet another oracle of judgment against yet another pagan nation, Moab. Now, while I've discussed this at length over these first 3 lessons of Amos, I will reiterate that it is paramount that we take notice that God fully expects the nations, meaning non-Hebrew nations, Gentiles, to also obey his laws and commands, because disobeying these laws is what's prompting God to react against them. It puts to shame this central, age-old church doctrine that God's laws and commands were only ever for Israel and no one else, so the church is now exempt. The book of Amos destroys that notion in detail. Paul does as well by explaining in Romans chapter 2 that the laws given to Israel in the covenant of Moses are no different than the natural law, the knowledge of which is innate to all human beings without the need, really, for it to even be written down. The nations not having immediate access to the Torah, well, that's no excuse for Gentiles to transgress, to go against all that the Torah demands. This is because all the Torah really does is to flesh out in fuller detail what the natural law placed by God into all mankind already communicates, and therefore how it ought to be acted out. Moab was a brother nation of Ammon, and also located in a hard-scrabble area on the east side of the Jordan River. The crime God focuses on has to do with the proper burial of a person, in this case, the king of an enemy. That enemy was Edom. History and archaeology show that Moab and Edom were enemies, with Moab erecting a number of fortifications along its border with Edom. We are told that instead of a proper and respectful burial, Moab burned the bones of the king of Edom. This is not an expression. It means that quite literally and with malicious intent, the king of Edom's bones were burned to ashes. Why? So that no burial was possible. What's the meaning of this atrocity? Why was it considered so terrible? It's because the common belief of the ancient people of that day was that skeletal remains, bones, that's what was needed for any hope of that person to participate in resurrection.